that. Hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and guess what? It's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. And it's 7 p.m. No, almost 7 p.m. A couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. I'm Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and guess what? It's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. March 9th. It's 7 p.m. Almost a couple minutes after this. But this is Chasing Truth, that is. Dark Waters channel. This is Will Lyons on Chasing the Truth channel. And I've been, hey, it's 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's Monday, not Saturday. Okay, this should do it. What I did was I had one too many things going there. So anyway, let me redo this. Apologize for the static. Hey, this is Chasing the Truth. And what's up with the repeat penny was I accidentally had one too many radio sources, sound sources popping up on my feed, unfortunately. And thanks to Terry for letting me know that it was all crazy and cattywampus. So, what's going on? I am darkwaters.com. I'm still a part of that. Chasing the Truth is still on Saturday nights on the Dark Waters Radio channel, Paranormal Radio app. UPRN 107.7 out of New Orleans. UPRNtalkradio.com. Saturday night, 7 9 p.m. Central Time. Still doing that every Saturday night. This one is not a spinoff. It is, it's not a spinoff, but it's just in addition to. Like this earlier today, I actually had a couple things I needed to say, and there was some fake news that I was about ready to. Well, I did share it earlier today. Let's see, I'm getting some. You're too close to the microphone, so let me turn this thing down, see if that'll work. Alright, maybe that will work. But anyway, I turned her down on the old board here. How we're sounding now? Okay. Anywho, what we're doing now is so I got a thumbs up for the folks that are listening to me now. I got 4 watching, according to this handy dandy. I can see you lurking in the background, kind of stuff. But this coronavirus has hit the news kind of hard, and it's hit the markets kind of hard. And I popped up on this morning and started telling about a news story that I found from, I think it was, hold on just a second. Where's my stinking phone at? I'll get you the whole thing here in just a second. It was from, where was it from? XH News. I think that's a Chinese organization. WHO declares COVID-19 pandemic as virus continues to spread worldwide. Now that is absolutely false, because they left out one word. So WHO actually was considering declaring. They did not, because of the rapid virus spread across the worldwide. According to what I did see about an hour after I did the show in this thing at 12:26 p.m. today, Eastern Standard Time, from XH News. If you go on my previous broadcast for earlier today, I said it's probably, I couldn't find it anywhere else, but I said it was probably fake news to start off with. So there you go. Now, folks, what I've got now is, hey, check this out. I actually found out how to do something like this. So instead of just seeing that snazzy background, I can show you my computer now, which will be coming up here in just a second if you ain't seen it already. So, common sense ways to protect your aging parents from the coronavirus and still keeping them engaged. Now, I'm not saying that if you don't have any people that you're really getting into and thinking that you need to take care of them, and you don't need to hear about this, but anybody 65 and over are twice as likely, according to Forbes.com. It's twice as likely if you're 65 plus, a serious form of the COVID-19 infection. So stepped-up precautions are needed. If your aging parents have underlying medical conditions, obviously, if you've got diabetes, heart disease, lung problems, COPD, emphysema, asthma, anything that has to do with lungs, kidneys, heart, this goes for you. Even if you, unfortunately, cancer victims, oh Lord, I wouldn't even want to think about that. And looks like, I'll show this here in a bit, but I just got a new update on something else that I can talk about here in just a little bit. Let's see. One, you're just going to have to, if they get lonesome, if they have to go in and start, if you got elderly parents, 65 plus, and you have to, keep them quarantined, they could get lonesome and depressed and whatnot. So obviously you're going to have to engage with them. Necessary as it is, isolating or having a quarantine or aging parents comes with a price. Many senior social connections provide the enjoyment they need, and fulfilling life depression can result in their feeling cut off, blah, blah, blah. Which, otherwise, that all makes sense. Try to keep them engaged. Try to, if you cannot, say if you're quarantining yourself from your parents or your loved ones or your neighbor or whatever, and they're in that demographic that they're, they're too susceptible to catching a real bad version of this COVID, whatever you want to call it, 19 Wuhan virus. Maybe you can call them or set up an iPad or a computer or something where you can communicate with them across digitally. Now, that being said, I've got an aunt that is so digitally illiterate. It is sad. Sad. But one of the big things that I wanted to really get across from you, let's see, advice for the public. The World Health Organization actually did produce some of the stuff. Now, I can tell you right now, when it comes to the World Health Organization, CDC, that whole gambit of people, they have to go with it. Most of them, I would suspect, would be great, but are doing great and are in it for the right reasons. But I'm still, I know some people that was from CDC when I was working in healthcare field as a regional manager and a department manager for a hospital chain. The basics that you need to do, and I agree with these, is this first one: wash your hands frequently. That's World Health Organization and CDC both agree that it's not if the United States will see an outbreak of this COVID-19 virus. It's just when it's going to start. Obviously, got a text message from a buddy of mine who lives in New Orleans, not Dark Waters, one of his buddies, and through him we become a little friends, and said a person at the hospital was allowed to receive visitors, and visitors, well, there was a quarantine going on, self-quarantine, down in New Orleans. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can find it. So that the first presumptive, I'm assuming it's a presumptive case of COVID-19 in New Orleans, has occurred. That being said, you're going to start hearing these pop up all over the map, if it is as bad as they say it is. I hope it's not, and I pray it's not, and the Lord above, that it doesn't turn into that. But you need to take precautions. One thing about this thing is so scary. What I've been reading, up to 24 days from the moment that you come in contact with somebody that gives you this, transfers this disease over, contact transference. Or it's also a respiratory transference, so that's why the masks and stuff are flying off the shelves. If you do come in contact with somebody, up to 24 days before the first symptom that you can absolutely say, hey, I'm sick, or get a fever or anything, from, up to 24 days, you're fine and dandy. You feel like you are right now if you're not sick. But day one, you're infectious. You can hand it off to another person. And I've seen some data that each infected COVID-19 person can hand this off on average to 6.5 people. Excuse me. So, just being said, hey, get a shout out. We got Penny, Miss T, Cricket Song. Yeah. If you like what you're listening to, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, give me a thumbs down. But please share this out to all your friends on the digital land, on your favorite social media, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you like to spend a little too much time on. Share this out. Hey, tighten up. Alexa, stop. Ah, crap. I forgot to turn her microphone off. So, yeah, Penny, there's at least one out there. So the one thing is since it's got 24 days of this thing that can live inside of you before it peeks its head out, it's hard to tell how far into the country this thing has gotten. I don't know. Let's see if I can get that COVID-19. Let's see, Forbes let's get the COVID map up. I think it was John Hopkins COVID map. If I could spell, let's get this thing up and we'll see if they've updated it today. In COVID mapping, let's see. This might be it, maybe. Nope. Well, let's see. Hold on just a second. Let me get this COVID map up. I know what I can do. Hold on just a second. I got it up over here. I'll just transfer it over to from one Mac to the other. I haven't got all that set up yet, but I got it going. Still learning how to juggle two MacBooks at once, but think I got it. Give me just a second. We'll pop this up here. And this should pop up on your screen here in just a second. Hopefully. Yeah, there you go. Should be up. And it's loading. It's taking its own pretty little time. The John Hopkins CSSE mapping and confirmation of where the actual numbers are coming from. According to Johns Hopkins, earlier today it was a little over 111,000, so it's went up a few thousand. 113,000, almost, well, it might have been that or a little less. But as you can see, this will be popping up in just a second. Wow. So I'm guessing that most of the folks that are actually on this channel is probably from North America. So you can see all these little red dots here as you're catching up with me. All these little red dots, there's 3 in Kentucky and a couple in North Carolina, and looks 1, 2, 3 in South Carolina, several in Georgia around Atlanta. That's surprising. New York City looks like it's got its own little cubby hole going on there. Boston, Ontario up there in Canada. Alberta's got one out northwest of Edmonton. Seattle's got a bunch. San Francisco, California, Los Angeles, Houston. But another thing that has actually popped up, got all kinds of different little things I can fill you in on what's going on with the COVID-19. Italy today. Let's see if I actually got that story popped up to do this. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Italy expands lockdown to combat coronavirus. The entire country of Italy is locked down. It's on quarantine, nothing coming, nothing going. And I think Israel, if you're coming in, no matter who you are, if you're coming into Israel, you're in a 2-week quarantine, period. So, plus also with Italy, I think they had some, no, hold on just a second. It was Italy prison in flames. Right here. Lockdown riot among cut-off inmates. So, that being said, wonder what exactly they're trying to say. They're cut off from what? I thought the inmates in a prison is cut off automatically. So they're quarantined from everybody to start off with. So the riots broke out Sunday afternoon. Half a dozen prisons over Italian government enacted a draconian decree that has locked down 16 million people and curtailed movement across the entire country to try to contain the spread of the COVID-19. By Monday, the riots had spread to 30 detention centers or facilities. We can go over here. Now, here it says there's 9,172 in Italy. Let's go over here and see what they got over here in Italy. Yep, same as this. One of the things I've noticed and read that depending on what health organization, who you're getting this from, the information, the numbers, and whatnot can dramatically be different. Like the death rates that you see on the whole shebang. Let's see. Confirmed cases. I want to see them all, though. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go up here and redo this. But confirmed cases, depending on where you're seeing it, where it's coming from, how they're confirmed, what they're confirmed, which I'm going to go with that here in just a little bit. 113,000 and a half confirmed cases, almost 4,000 deaths worldwide. 62,512 people have recovered. Now, the recovery thing is, there is speculation that the folks that have had the COVID-19 and got well over this has reinfected themselves in some shape, form, or fashion. So, the biggest thing I can tell you, folks, is the basics. One, wash your hands. Plus, not just your hands. My stream earlier, I was telling the folks that were watching this, you got to scrub underneath your nails. Get your underneath your nails clean. Get you a toothbrush and scrub the living crap out of underneath your nails. Underneath your nails, fungus can grow, bacteria, viruses of all kinds, and probably whatever you ate in the last 2 days is probably underneath there, if not longer. But so one, there's a big scare tactic that's happening here that across the country, especially like over in San Francisco, Seattle. Let's go over here and pull up Seattle and San Francisco and kind of get the lowdown on this. Seattle actually have 31 cases confirmed in Snohomish County, Washington. There's a King County, I think. King County. And that I think King County actually has converted or is in the midst of converting a hotel there to take care of recovering COVID-19 sufferers that have been, infected and sick enough to be put in isolation. So, plus the news that just came out, I actually watched this. Trump and Vice President Pence went on and did a national address. I think let's see. Hey, Spike, watch out what you say about death things. The old algorithm doesn't like that kind of gibberish going on there. So, anywho, folks, you're going to start hearing a lot of different conversions of hotels, motels, FEMA camps. All these FEMA camps that's popped up in every region. And every region may actually be converted over and taking care of this situation. Now, it has definitely hit the stock market. Stock market dropped over 2,000 points today. Barrel of oil, which usually they say anything $50 and above, they make a little money and everything's copacetic. But I think it closed at $31.13 today. And it fell 25% in one day. Scientists warn, according to Zero Hedge, tipping point where COVID-19 goes from mild to deadly. Let's see. Since roughly 10 to 15% of mild to moderate patients progress to the next severe state, it's possible for hospitals and doctors to understand which patient has a high risk of worsening infection so they can factor this into the risk assessment. Now, the big thing that is in the United States as of right now, up until I think early today, none not none. Some of the states in the United States in the labs that were state-owned, state-controlled, could not test. Oh, tell Meth Bunny I said, hey, there's Spike. Could not test for COVID-19. Now, according to the release statement from Vice President Pence and the COVID-19 task force he's over, that every state can test for, or state level labs can test for COVID-19, and said up to 1 million more test kits will be given out across the United States. Plus, you got all these different boats that are going into different docks that have infected crew and members that are in isolation. I couldn't. You talk about cabin fever. If you were on a boat that size, what would you do if you could not possibly get off that boat? Period. I don't know. That'd be a hell of a lot of cabin fever. So, there you go. Alright, another thing that I wanted to go over here in just a minute, if I can find it. Well, let's see what we got done today. So, according to the New York Post, 9/11 responders and survivors at risk for contracting coronavirus official warns. Now, one of the things I've been waiting for is when are they going to start? What the heck? Oh, more than why is that popping up? Okay, all right, I got rid of that. 9/11 responders and survivors at risk for contracting coronavirus official warns because one, all the asbestosis and fine infiltrates that smoke, dust, and all that stuff got in their lungs. They've got lung problems, plus whatever else they contracted during 9/11 attack over New York City. Now, New York City prison labor has actually, let me look this up. Cuomo, if I could spell it. Cuomo prison, let's see, what was it? Hand sanitizer? Yeah. See if it'll come up here. Yep. Cuomo's fix for sanitizer shortage, 100,000 gallons, according to, well, let's try this. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm not a big fan of New York Times, but we'll just look at it anyway. 100,000 gallons made by prisoners. NYS Clean. So, wait a minute. Wow. This is scary right here. But prison labor. Nope, she's trying to throw my phone. There you go. Anyway, there you go. Japan 7-Eleven worker infected with coronavirus. Another case likely caused meningitis. Now, what this coronavirus is, this Wuhan virus, has like 3 different components to it, and that's why I personally think it's a man-made biohazard bioweapon. It has bits of AIDS virus in it, which what it does is attacks your immune system. It's got SARS and MERS in it, so it's like 3 different viruses trying to attack to you, and apparently you get no relief, no help if you contracted this damn virus. Look this up, obviously, because this is, I'm just going from memory on this one. But if you contract this virus, it does not help you in the chances of resisting or even having a better second go around with contracting this virus. So that just stinks. Period. So, worker at Japan's 7-Eleven convenience store chain in Yamanashi Prefecture, west of Tokyo, has contracted a new coronavirus, the company said on Sunday. Now, was this particular worker working and handing out 7-Eleven money to people, coughing and sneezing, and then handing the money back to them? I don't know, but Japan's got a culture where it's more of isolation culture. A lot of people wear masks if they've got colds and flu to start off with, even before this COVID stuff happened. So, well, Spike, I hope you have fun with taking a smoke break there, buddy. Let's see, who else is in there? We got Spike Hunter. Killshot, hey there, buddy. What you miss? Just opening. You missed the first 2 or 3 minutes of me trying to figure out where the reverb was coming from, and it was actually me not. Me not. That's some English right there, let me tell you. That I had a couple of sound sources opening up, and it was awful static echo. So thanks to Terry for Miss T for letting me know that it was terrible. And also, let's see, Penny for letting me know everything sounded okay afterwards. Hey Jim, what's going on, man? I hadn't seen you in a while. So, like I said, go back over here. Go back. Cuomo from New York City has gotten the prisoners that's been in prison to make 100,000 gallons of a alcohol solution for hand sanitizing. And I don't know how they're going to sell it, or if they're going to hand it out for free or whatever it is. Let's see what it says on this New York Times thing here. 100,000 gallons per week. Excuse me. And warning online retailers again that they should stop overcharging. You don't even have the floral bouquet, you said, so stop price gouging. Now, that being said, my little cubbyhole that I live here in Southwest Virginia on the borders of Kentucky, hand sanitizers, the small ones or the big ones or the refills, you can't find. Can't find any convenience stores, gas stations, Walmart, or any of that places. So, now this panic buying has really gotten bad. Really, really gotten bad. And I just found out my grandnephew, coronavirus concerns prompts Madonna to cancel Paris shows? Really? Oh, here you go. Brand new hot off the press, according to Fox News. Here in just a second. Madonna cancels Paris shows, and whoa, she's had some facelifts there, buddy. Period. Has canceled her last 2 stops for the latest tour in France. So, awesome. Jim, I need to come by the next time you're doing a show, which is, I think, Tuesday nights at 9, isn't it? On Eastern Standard Time. The Mallard Report. Good show, folks. If you like on-topic commentary by Jim Mallard, and he's got some fantastic guests. He's had some unreal guests over the years. He's been doing it, for 5 years or something like that, Mallard? Heck, I don't even want to step out my door, not with my asthma. Well, asthma is one thing I know really well. I had some really bad asthmatics in my practice. There you go. Asthmatics, can have mild reactions, seasonal, this, that, and the other, cause them to have a little wheeze, cough, and maybe some bronchitis or pneumonia here and there. Then there's really almost 9. Okay, cool. Almost 9 years. Didn't know you was doing it that long. That's cool, man. The Mallard Report. You need to look over there on the Mallard Report and follow and listen to Jim Mallard. He was one of the first fellows that actually got me into looking at doing a podcast. Actually, I helped him out for a little bit. I think about a little over a year, maybe, off and on, if I remember correctly. Let's see. All right. From the NPR, hot off the press, just come right off of my RSS feed. U.S. forces in South Korea and Italy are told to stay put as coronavirus spreads. Now, this little picture here of these guys in biohazard suits and masks and goggles with these little... I'm not exactly sure. Well, I guess if you're walking down the street and you're coughing and hacking up and spitting on the sidewalk, you need to spray the walkway with whatever sanitizing agent that you can spray on that thing. I was about ready to say the opposite, but now that I think about it, that's probably a pretty good idea to spray the streets with something. That is crazy. So, South Korea construction workers working in U.S. military garrison Camp Walker in Daegu, I butchered that name, I'm sure. South Korean city hardest hit by the coronavirus outbreak. Monday became the 8th person linked to the U.S. military and the nation to be diagnosed with COVID-19 disease caused by the virus. And President Trump was on earlier on a live feed. He did a nation update on the COVID-19 crisis. And all the states in the United States now at state level can test for the coronavirus. And over 1 million coronavirus kits will be divvied out, rationed to wherever they feel they need to go, and I'm sure they're probably working on getting more. Let's see. See if I can find something. Okay. We've got, let's see, Representative Matt Gaetz. Doug Collins self-quarantine over coronavirus fears after meetings with President Trump. Now, Trump apparently had a member, somebody that he met that wasn't infected directly, but was in close contact with an active infected COVID-19 patient. Not President Trump, but the person that he met and shook hands with. But they did ask Pence, and after the fact that Trump left the press conference, if either one of them had gotten tested for the COVID-19, and Pence did not, and he said, and Pence remarked, said he will find out and have the White House make a statement to that question, and that was about 2 or 3 hours ago. Yeah, bronchitis is definitely horrible, and hey, Spike, you have to watch how you're talking in the chat, because you are making the Google gods nervous with your statements and stuff. All right, Jim, thanks for popping in, stepping away for a time or two. Let's see. Now, a couple things other than the coronavirus I wanted to talk about was the state of how our children are being raised, or the state of how society is getting. Now, when I was a boy, which I'm 50 now, we were getting a little rambunctious, and obviously my parents had their rambunctious days too. But holy cow, you don't have the kids now hardly go anywhere without a smartphone. Heck, even my smallest niece, one of my smaller nieces, has an iPhone 11 Pro, maybe, I don't know, and she's not even, maybe 4. Just some advice. Oh well, yeah. Don't put any wet liquid stuff on a fence. Electric fence. There you go. I agree with you on that one, bud. Well, Spike, your advice Google algorithm does not like. It's popping up and saying, "Hey, show or hide," and I'm just leaving it alone. So. Anyway, here we go. Go back here. Army general in charge of U.S. soldiers in Europe may have been... Oh, here you go. This is from Yahoo News. It's popping up on the screen here in just a second. The Army general in charge of U.S. soldiers in Europe may have been exposed to the coronavirus. Now, how fancy is that? U.S. Army Lieutenant General Christopher Cavoli, commander of U.S. forces, soldiers in Europe, is working remotely after possibly being exposed to coronavirus during a recent conference. Cavoli took command of the U.S. Army in Europe. Well, that doesn't mean anything. How did he catch it? Just by somebody coughing? Let's see. Out of abundance of caution of following recommended protocols, he and the others potentially affected are self-monitoring and working remotely to fulfill their command duties and responsibilities. Secretary of the Army Ryan McCarthy said in a statement Monday, referring to Lieutenant General Christopher Cavoli. Anyway. Well, let's see what's going on in chat. The cure is actually a chip. I'm not exactly... I don't know about the chip. And I don't know if there is a cure out there. I'm not seeing it at all. Have not even read about it at all. But there are some conspiracy theories out there that has... this is a bioengineered bioweapon, which... it's a conspiracy theory, and what I've read does look like it is a possibility. But I did hear from a YouTuber, his name's JSnip, and he has a different twist, a different conversation going on about this COVID-19 stuff. Sun virus, or whatever you want to call it. Killshot, did you hear about the British scientists looking for volunteers to infect with the coronavirus? I have not. That's new to me. But to extrapolate what I just, or expand upon what I just said, that I heard earlier today from JSnip on YouTube, he thinks that this whole coronavirus thing is a big false flag. Hey, Shawn, that's my sci-fi novel. Oh, really? Okay. But he said, look at the places where this coronavirus is eating them up, according to the news and all that's coming out of the countries. China, Japan, South Korea, Italy, and Iran. So, that being said, he said, all of these places, especially the ones that were prone to have protests, especially in France, those yellow jackets, yellow smocks, what do you call it? Yellow shirts, protesters. As of right now, Macron over there, the Prime Minister of Italy, has signed an order stating that no more than 1,000 people can gather together in any public place. Which I'm looking at that and saying, well, if there's a COVID-19 in that 1,000-person crowd, and each person that has this COVID-19, you could have, wow, do the math, 6.5 people on average per person can get infected from one person, and then spread that out. I just don't get it, and I look at that information and say, well, they're just killing the ability of people to get out and protest, to get out in crowds and stuff. And that the World Health Organization and all these other fine CDC types are just possibly helping them along with this agenda. Let's see. Your sci-fi novel. Let me scroll up. Let's see. Tighten Up says vaccines leaves a mark on the right hand of the forehead of those who received it. Those who are not deceived do not have the mark, but those that have the mark will not buy and sell to them because they. What was the rest of it? Oh, because they don't. Okay, I get you. All right. Mainland China reports 19 new confirmed cases of coronavirus, which that's down from the last bit. Have you noticed that you don't hear a whole lot from China other than, hey, they're getting better? But the United States reports on, hey, we got a new presumptive COVID-19 patient, like in Washington, D.C. yesterday. And a few other presumptive cases. I think at the first of the radio show, or this podcast, I mentioned New Orleans has one that's in the hospital down there. That being said, I'm like, oh my God. Can you imagine if wherever you are located, wherever you may be, and this COVID-19 is reported to be in your area, what would you do? Would you go out and buy every pack of toilet paper and hand sanitizer, anything that you get your hands on, and buy every can of pinto beans out there that you get your hands on too, and water? I saw a couple of news reports that over in California where this is more prevalent, like I think it's over near San Francisco or LA. Can't remember exactly where I saw that. But they're rationing out these big things of water, bottled water, to 2 per person. So, and Spike says he's scared of hospitals. Hey, the one thing that hospitals are great, if you are actively sick and try to get well, those are usually pretty good places to go. Now, you get these hospital-acquired pneumonias and all these other infections that you did not get in contact with outside in the wild, outside the hospital doors, and there is such a thing. Hospital-acquired pneumonia and hospital-acquired infections. And those things are nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Hey, welcome back there, Jim. And I have seen it, and it takes the highest amount of medication to get rid of these things or even treat it, especially if it turns out to be fungal or some crazy bacterial infection. And if you let's see, North Carolina, Washington Times, we got now they're just reporting handfuls of cases here. When are they going to start reporting that these 5, like in Washington Times, according to North Carolina, 5 more coronavirus cases for a total statewide of 7 have been reported. Now, 7 doesn't sound that hot or not disparaging. 7 people out of the whole of North Carolina. North Carolina is a fairly large state. And I've been through North Carolina. I couldn't tell you how many times driving down to Florida. But, yeah. When they start reporting that the cities have hundreds and thousands. Actually, I asked earlier today. I've got a text message group that I converse with on a daily basis, where I got the New Orleans case of the coronavirus that's done in New Orleans. Got that information from. But I asked, Italy's closed down everything. The entire country of Italy's closed down and quarantined. When is a state in the United States going to be quarantined? When's the larger cities like San Francisco, L.A., Atlanta, New York City, Chicago? When are you going to see those places get kicked in the teeth from this stuff? Don't know. So, let's see. We got about we don't have any time left because I didn't have a plan to stop this at any time. You guys got any questions or comments about the coronavirus? First thing, everybody's running for is masks and sanitizer and goggles and gloves. And the one thing that you have to realize is, one, you got to know your environment. If somebody's coughing and you suspect they might have coronavirus, you better get the hell away from them. And then as soon as you can get to some place where you can wash your hands and wash wherever you think that may spray, that cough or sneeze spray. Now, there was a couple of tidbits of information that I let out on Saturday night. I think it was Saturday night or the last show. But a cough and a sneeze leaves a person's mouth at 100 miles per hour. So if you're standing 6 feet away or sitting 6 feet away from somebody and a sneeze or a cough, it happens, and that small particulate spray, even though if you can't see it, it's been suspended in the air. Makes it to you in pretty quick time. So if I were you folks, if somebody that is actively sick and you think, hopefully, knock on wood, where's the wood? Hopefully this is not as bad as they say. That's what I'm praying for. Oh, Melania Trump cancels Trump campaign fundraiser in California. Now has been so many cancellations of activities. I know Austin, Texas had a big event canceled over the weekend. I think Saturday or Sunday. And I can't remember what the actual name of it was. Austin, Texas canceled a bunch of stuff. New York City's canceling left and right. I know Seattle has canceled quite a bit. But the one thing that, if this is even as bad as they say it's going to be, we do not have enough beds to quarantine folks. If it gets down to where they actually have to go on ventilators and stuff, that's what scares me as a respiratory therapist. If we have such an event where Trump actually said we have a repository of ventilators that we can ration out for regions that need them. And I can tell you right now, we don't have enough people that are qualified enough to deal with that many ventilator patients. Now, I can see one respiratory therapist doing nothing but going through and checking ventilators, could probably handle 10 to 1 person without getting so stressed and so bogged down. I could probably get by that, but that would be cruel and unusual punishment and well below SOP. So anyway, what else we got going on here? I'm going through my RSS feed right now. Hold on just a second. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me go through something else. My Twitter feed. Hey, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at @1Shawnster, SHAWNSTER, with the number 1 in front of it. Usually post just about a bunch of stuff. Definitely. Oh, Apple. You know, the fine fellows at Apple make all these fine computers and little things you stick in your pocket. Says it's okay to clean your iPhone with disinfectant wipes. And I actually asked earlier today, and Jim Mallard, that's in the chat there on YouTube, has remarked on it, and I remarked on. I did say, what about sanitizing your phone? And then all of a sudden, Apple pops up and says it's okay to disinfect your wipes. Or disinfect your phones. Which makes perfectly good sense, because who doesn't take their phone, whether it's iPhone or whatever iteration of a phone that you have, smartphone, flip phone, to the bathroom with them? Now, obviously, it's kind of nasty to think about it on top of what's going on. But you should clean your phone on a regular basis. Let's see. Let me see if I can get these cleaning guidelines here up and going. On just a second, and I'm going to transfer it over to where you guys can see it. And we'll go over here in just a second. Oh, there I am. I'm going to have to quieten that though. Should pop up on your screens here in just a second. I may have to close some of these stupid things out here. New York Post. Apple updates iPhone cleaning guidelines as coronavirus spreads. Using a 70% isopropyl alcohol wipe or Clorox disinfectant wipe, you can gently wipe the hard, non-porous surfaces of your phone product, display, keyboard, and other exterior surfaces, the company said. Well, with the newer phones, yeah, I could get that. I don't know about iPhone 4s and 3s and 2s and all that stuff. I don't know if those are even out there still yet or not, but they could be. But I would definitely be using some sort of sanitizer, no matter what their guidelines were. Who would want to carry around all this junk with whatever respiratory element that's out there? Common cold, flu A or B. I had flu B. That was just absolutely, that was not fun. That was over a month of coughing and sneezing and waking up and going, oh my God, the world's about to end. So, hey DW, what's going on? So what you guys need to do is, one, wash your hands religiously. If you come to the point where, for this COVID virus or any other thing, that you're around a person that's infected, or if you are infected, one, wash your hands. And if you come to the conclusion or think, well, do I need to wash my hands? That's enough to say, yes, wash your hands. And definitely clean underneath your fingernails. Plus, make a habit. Is don't touch your face, your mouth, eyes, nose, ears, anything, cut, scrape, or anything without a well-washed hand. If it's a dirty hand, don't touch anything on your face, especially with this coronavirus stuff. Now, I have seen some pretty bad respiratory elements, and from what I'm reading with the signs, symptoms, and the worst case scenarios, this stuff will, oh my God, it's terrible. Affects not only your lungs, your heart, your kidneys. I'm not exactly sure if nervous system. In males, it affects your penis in some form or fashion. I think it allows infections to set up, secondary infections allows set up and more or less just eat everything away. Here's the story earlier. Italy prison in flames and coronavirus lockdown riot among cutoffs to inmates. Which, like I said earlier, are they cut off from contact for the outside world, or is the supply of whatever they need to exist on a daily basis being been removed, and it caused that riots. So anyway, folks. Oh yeah, the penis. I'm gonna have. Let's see. Fear the Great White. Hey, buddy. Welcome aboard. So, these shows that I'm doing over here, outside of the Saturday night shows that I do for the Dark Waters channel, I am darkwaters.com, that's still going to go on. Saturday night shows. Fear not. I'm just had a notion. I've been praying for a little bit and had a notion that I needed to do more shows. So I talked to my buddy James, Dark Waters, and we came up with a little bit of a start plan to see what I needed to do with the show and making this channel grow, my channel, the Chasing Truth channel. So if you could like, share, and subscribe, or if you don't like what you're hearing, put a thumbs down. It all equals out in the end for the algorithms and the Google gods, per se. So, all right. Yahoo News. These are the 10 household essentials are selling out across the country because of this panic buying. So let's see what's on the list. I can about guarantee hand sanitizers on that because. Yep, hand sanitizer and wipes, number one. I know for a fact that Walmart and all the other local mom and pop shops around my area here in Southwest Virginia are out of this stuff. And Cuomo up in New York City says that he's having prisoners make up to 100,000 gallons of hand sanitizer liquid per week. Let's see. Story continues. Let's see what else. Number 2, hand soap. Really? Hand soap. Okay. Toilet paper. Yeah, I can see that. My aunt. Oh my God. She is. If she gets below having a 24 pack or a 48 pack of toilet tissue in her head or in her possession at her home, she goes into a panic. Paper towels. And then we got cleaning wipes as number 5. Yeah, did I get a hold of some last time? I don't think I got a hold. I've got 2 of these canisters here in the house right now. I may need to see if I can get my hand. Dish soap. Wow, I'm gonna have to get some of that too. I was actually out of it. Trash bags. I just got some of those. And disinfectant spray. I've got a few cans of these. Laundry detergent. I need to get. Hell, I just about have to get. Well, I don't need any diapers. Do not need any diapers. But if you're looking for that kind of stuff, if you need diapers, that's number 10 on the list, folks. So if you've got somebody that needs diapers, you need to stock up and at least get you some diapers on hand. If you've got a little one that needs it and you don't do the recycling and wash filthy diapers, that's recycling them. But earlier today, Trump did give a news conference, and they're going to be working on tax breaks to soften the blow of this economic downturn with this coronavirus event that's blowing through the economy. Now, earlier today, 25% of the crude oil per barrel fell 25%, down to $31.13. Anything under $50, they get really antsy. Now, Trump said the cost of fuel will be going down. Cost of a gallon of gasoline will be going down, which hopefully that will ease the burdens across the board for people that need to travel. But if they start locking down, you probably won't be able to travel either. So, I don't know. Let's see. All right. CDC urges elderly to stock up on food, stay home amid coronavirus fears, according to the New York Post. Now, I'm not a big fan of CDC, as I said earlier, or the WHO, the World Health Organization. And I feel for these anybody that has a handicap or yeah. Let's see. Oh, we were talking about that triangle head. From what I understand, DW mentioned that the triangle head is a souped-up version of Dogman. It's one of those chimera spin-offs of Dogman that's terribly large, terribly strong, according to Dogman norms. If there is a norm for a Dogman. Post-apocalypse, I believe toilet paper will be the currency. I know, and let's see. Yep. I do host recently, DW's been staying off this channel, but he's been doing some live streams a little bit here and there. So keep up with that, and he's been dropping some stories over on Dark Waters channel on YouTube. And obviously you can find a lot of his stories, comic books, and other paraphernalia over there on IamDarkWaters.com. Definitely, without a doubt. Plus, my repository of shows is over there on IamDarkWaters.com. Let's see if I can find any more relative news that just recently popped out. Oh, let's see. Oil prices rise 4% after the biggest one-day fall since 1991, according to Reuters. Yeah, the Seattle area nursing home unable to test 65 workers with COVID-19 symptoms. And that's that nursing home hit the news mid last week, I think. And they just locked down everybody. Now, according to what I heard, that they were understaffed when they called out for help and got some help for this nursing home over in Seattle. Let's see. The staffers representing more than a third of the Life Care Center's 180 employees are out sick with symptoms resembling the coronavirus, and a federal strike team of nurses, doctors is helping care for 53 patients remaining in the center. Now, that being said, I did read some reports that over in England that they are recalling and folks that have retired doctors, nurses, and other healthcare workers out of retirement to take care and kind of boost up the numbers of people that are actually in healthcare during this COVID-19 panic. So, let's see. I don't know if he's still here or not. Let me look. Participants. He's not showing up on the chat list there, Spike. So, he may be in the background. But, another thing happened today. I was going through my Google account, and I have been doing some work on an old Mac Mini that I had from 2011. And I was just polishing that old computer up. And I found out that there was a stinking phone on my safe list on my Google account. So I had to go back and redo my whole safety measures. And second authorization, two-step authorization. So, folks, if you haven't checked your Google account or other accounts out that you want to protect from people that are prying into your own business or may steal from you, I would just take a peek and give it a once-over. It took me about 45 minutes to go through everything, make sure everything was right. Now I logged off everything and kicked that one phone off that I didn't know about. It was an Android phone. So, yes, the MFer that put that phone on my on my account, buddy, you're off that account now. If they're listening, so. Oh, here's another thing about ceremonies and stuff being canceled. Our first hate crime for Wuhan virus is popping up here from Zero Hedge, actually. I love Zero Hedge, but Twitter doesn't like them. They kicked them off for something. I forgot what it was. It's something silly. But first, virus-related hate crime. Man wearing surgical mask stabs Asian in New York City. Of all places. Craziness. Then last bit of news before I go and wrap this thing up. Let's see. The Navy won't let recruits' families go to their graduation ceremonies because of coronavirus fears. So, I've been said a lot of different things are going to happen in the next few weeks. Next 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, 8 weeks, will definitely have us looking at life a little bit differently. What I suggest to you folks is, one, if you do have a fear that this is going to be in your back door, knocking on your door, obviously try to prep yourself as best you can. But live your life as best you can. Now, that's the one thing here that I fear that's probably going to scar a few people or make it uncomfortable for a few people, especially the elderly, 65 plus, that have pre-existing comorbid conditions that are readily able, if they're exposed to this or any other virus out there, it'll wreak havoc on their system. So, one, if you do have friends and this stuff is knocking on your neighbor's door or your neighborhood's door, check on the folks that are around you that are elderly or disabled or have a chronic condition that you're aware of. Definitely check on them. Neighbors and friends and family are what's going to save us with this, I'm sure. So, folks, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this a night. We've been on for 71 minutes. For all that's spin out there, let's see, we've got, Fear the Great White, Spike Hunter, DW, Dark Waters, of course, from IamDarkWaters.com, Jim Mallard from Mallard Report, Penny Tyndall, let's see, who else? Miss T, Tighten Up. All you fine ladies and gentlemen that have popped by, like, share, and subscribe to your favorite social media outlet. And folks, I may be up and doing this tomorrow. I don't know. It just depends on what I find if I want to do another live stream. But if I go through the next few days without doing anything with this channel, which more than likely I'm going to do another live stream between now and Saturday, at least one or two. Saturday night, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, you can find me on the Dark Waters radio channel on the Paranormal Radio app. Also, UPRN 107.7 FM out of New Orleans. UPRN talkradio.com. IamDarkWaters.com. Join me up on the Dark Waters channel on Yahoo. Yahoo? Oh, I'm looking at Yahoo. On YouTube. Dark Waters YouTube, Saturday night, 7 to 9. And please follow me on Twitter, one Shawnster, SHAWNSTER, with the number 1 at the beginning of that. Plus, you can look me up on Chasing Truth on Facebook and other fine wastes of time in my book, but other social media outlets. But, folks, God bless y'all. Be safe out there. Remember, basics is going to save you. Wash your hands, and protect and be aware of your environment with this coming stuff. Tighten up. Thank you. So, folks, here we go. Going to end the stream. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up. Let's see. Did it? Nope, I didn't. I'm going to play a commercial by Dark Waters himself, Manhattan Life, and then end this thing. So, folks, here we go.
Did you know that medical expenses are the largest cause of bankruptcy in the United States? Even for people who have major medical insurance. And that leads me to the next point. Most people's health insurance coverage is not enough to cover their treatment costs. That's why you and your family need a living benefits plan through Manhattan Life. Just think, no medical exam required, and we're not talking about accident insurance. We're talking about life insurance protection. Furthermore, you can quote yourself on your own time if you go to imdarkwaters.com and click the Manhattan Life Insurance link today. That's right, go to imdarkwaters.com and click the Manhattan Life Insurance link today.